Hello children, welcome back to this English teaching session. In the previous class we have seen the first half of the prose under unit 1, Two Gentlemen of Verona. Now we are going to be looking at the second half of this story, Two Gentlemen of Verona. Before getting into the second half, let us recollect the key points of the first half of the prose, Two Gentlemen of Verona by A.J. Cronin. The narrator and his companion drive through the foothills of Alps. On the outskirts of Verona, they meet two shabby-looking brothers, Nicola and Jacopo, aged 13 and 12 respectively. They sell wild strawberries. Narrator and his companion buy a big basket of strawberries. The boys are found doing jobs like polishing shoes, guiding visitors, etc. During the time of their stay in the town, the two boys turn out to be very helpful to the visitors. They want to sell all their unsold newspapers to the travelers in the bus. As they sell newspapers, the narrator comes to know that they do not spend on clothes and food. Jacopo requests the narrator to drop them at Polita, their village 30 kilometers away. Children, let us get into the second half of the story. Let me read the paragraphs now from the textbook, followed by the explanation. The following afternoon, we drove to the tiny village set high upon the hillside. I imagined that our destinations would be some humble dwellings, but, directed by Jacopo, we drew up at a large red-roofed villa surrounded by a high stone wall. I could scarcely believe my eyes, and before I could recover breath, my two passengers had leaped from the car. "We shall not be long, sir, perhaps only an hour. Maybe you would like to go to the cave in the village for a drink." They disappeared beyond the corner of the wall. After a few minutes, I followed. I found a grilled side entrance and determinedly rang the bell. Now, children, here the narrator drives along with the two boys to the village the next afternoon. After dropping them, the boys enter a large red roofed villa which is actually a hospital. A few minutes later, the narrator follows and he finds a grilled side entrance and rings the bell. Children, let me read the next paragraphs. A pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles appeared. I blinked as I saw that she was dressed in the white uniform of a trained nurse. "I just brought two small boys here." "Ah, yes." Her face lit up. She opened the door to admit me. "Nicola and Jacopo, I will take you up." She led me through a cool tiled vestibule into the hospital, for hospital the villa had become. At the door of a little cubicle, the nurse paused, put a finger to her lips, and with a smile bade me look through the glass partition. The two boys were seated at the bedside of a girl of about 20 who, propped up on pillows, wearing a pretty lace jacket, was listening to their chatter, her eyes soft and tender. One could see at a glance her resemblance to her brothers. A vase of wild flowers stood on a table beside a dish of fruit and several books. "Won't you get in?" the nurse murmured. "Lucia will be pleased to see you." I shook my head and turned away. I felt I could not bear to intrude upon this happy family party. But at the foot of the staircase, I drew up and begged her to tell me all she knew about these boys. Children, now listen to the explanation. A pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles is dressed in the white uniform of a trained nurse, opens the door, and the narrator realizes that it is a hospital. The kind nurse has led the narrator through the vestibule to the cubicle, from where he can see Jacopo and Nicola are sitting near their sister Lucia at the bedside. Lucia, the boy's sister, is a young girl of 20. She is wearing a pretty lace jacket and is listening to her brother's chatter. Her eyes are soft and tender. She has a resemblance to her brothers who take good care of her. Even though the nurse murmurs the narrator to go inside, the narrator avoids going to Lucia's room because he do not want the narrator do not want to intrude into the privacy of the brothers and sister. The narrator hesitates to enter the hospital room. He tries to find out children at the same time he tries to find out from the nurse about the girl patient in the hospital and the boys. Children, few meanings are here. Vestibule meaning lobby, and also chatter meaning a series of short, quick, high-pitched sounds. Children will move on to the next paragraphs. She was eager to do so. They were, she explained, quite alone in the world except for this sister Lucia. Their father, a widower, a well-known singer, had been killed in the early part of the war. Shortly afterward, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the three children into the streets. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. Lucia had herself been trained as a singer, and they had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. For months, they had barely kept themselves alive in a sort of shelter they built with their own hands amidst the rubble. Then, for 3 years, the Germans ruled the city. The boys grew to hate the Germans. When the resistance movement began secretly to form, they were among the first to join. When the war was over and we had peace at last, they came back to their beloved sister and they found her suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. She paused, took a quick breath. Did they give up? I do not have to answer that question. They brought her here, persuaded us to take her into the hospital. In the 12 months she has been a patient, she has made good progress. There is every hope that one day she will walk and sing again. Children, listen to the explanation. These paragraphs tell us how the family was affected by war and also the fact revealed by the nurse to the narrator. World War II's effect on Italy forms the background of the story. A lot of civilians were killed in the war. The administration of Italy under the dictator Benito Mussolini was ruthless, and the common man was unhappy about the ill treatment given by the government. People struggled under the German invasion for 3 long years. The resistance movement came up against Mussolini's government and against the Germans. After 3 years, the Germans left the country. The story is set on a backdrop of war ravages as the young boys and their sister Jacopo and Nicola and Lucia are orphaned, having lost their father in the war. Their father, who was a well known singer, became a victim of the early war. The children became homeless as their home got destroyed. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. But after they were rendered homeless, they had suffered a lot from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. For months, they had barely kept themselves alive in a sort of shelter they built with their own hands amidst the broken bricks. The boys hated the Germans as they were responsible for the ruin of their happy family. They stood against them as rebels. After the war, when they got back to their sister, they found her suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. It was another shock to these poor kids. Despite facing so many problems in their early part of their life, they did not lose their hope. Their positive approach and determination managed them to give their sister the best they could. They did various jobs but lived a poor life to save money for their sister's treatment and food. So, they have been trying their best to make payments regularly to the hospital. Children, the boys Nicola and Jacopo were devoted and sincere towards the cause of their sister's ailment. Despite the harshness faced by them, they were really self sacrificing. Let me read the last few paragraphs of this story. Of course, everything is so difficult now. Food so scarce and dear, we could not keep going unless we charged a fee. But every week, Lucia's brothers have made their payment. She added simply, I don't know what they do. I do not ask. Work is scarce in Verona, but whatever it is, I know they do it well. Yes, I agreed. They couldn't do it better. I waited outside until the boys rejoined me and then drove them back to the city. They sat beside me, not speaking. For my part, I did not say a word. I knew they would prefer to feel that they had safely kept their secret. Yet their devotion had touched me deeply. War had not broken their spirit. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life, gave promise of a greater hope for human society. Children, by this time, the narrator comes to know that the boys did various jobs to save money for their sister's treatment and food, and also to make payments regularly to the hospital. The narrator waited outside the room. He was touched by the love and devotion with which the boys worked for their sister. He understood their character very well and knew that they wouldn't like to have sympathized. So the narrator did not say anything to the boys on their way back to give the impression that they did not know about their secret. He felt that such a humble youth gives a society hope for a better tomorrow. In such times of war, weapons, and hatred, still there is hope for humanity. Despite all the negativity in the world like war, hatred, jealousy, rivalry, and selfishness, the boy's attitude indicated that goodness still persisted in some souls. Here, both Nicola and Jacopo, with their devotion, are symbols of hope for humanity. A.J. Cronin has titled his short story as The Two Gentlemen of Verona, parodying the masterpiece of William Shakespeare to an extent. The young boys are the ideal gentlemen of Verona of humanity. They are the real epitome of all good values, love, honor, and sacrifice. Children, I hope that you have understood the entire meaning of this story, like the appearance of Niccolo and Jacopo, the various jobs undertaken by the little boys, and the narrator, how the narrator helped the boys on Sundays, and also the about the girl Lucia, and also the untold sufferings undergone by the siblings after they were rendered homeless. Now, let's recollect the key points for the second half of this story. The boys are dropped at a villa, which is a hospital. Narrator comes to know about Lucia, the sister of the boys who suffered from tuberculosis. The boys' home was destroyed in the war. Their father, a widower, was also killed. Hating the Germans, the boys became a part of the resistance movement. They work hard to treat their sister at the hospital. Appreciating the love and responsibility of the brothers towards their sister, and remained quiet to impress on them that he doesn't know their secret. Such children are a great hope in the war prone world. So, really, Niccolo and Jacopo are the epitome of good values like love, honor, and sacrifice. Here are few meanings for your reference. Vexation means annoyance. Vestibule, lobby. Chatter, a series of short, quick, high-pitched sounds. Intrude, enter without permission. Rubble means debris or broken bricks. Now try these questions, children. Why did the author avoid going to Lucia's room? The author avoided going to Lucia's room because he did not want to intrude into the privacy of the brothers and sister. What was Lucia suffering from? Lucia was suffering from tuberculosis. What made the boys join the resistance movement against the Germans? The boys joined the resistance movement against the Germans because they hated the Germans as they destroyed their family. What made the boys work so hard? The boys worked so hard to pay for their sisters' medical bills and food. Why didn't the boys disclose their problem to the author? The boys did not disclose their problems to the author as they didn't like to be sympathized. Children, under pro session, you will be asked glossary, answer in 1 or 2 sentences, answer in 3 or 4 sentences, and paragraph answers. Also, children, in the previous class, we have seen few examples of homophones, phrase, and derivatives by adding prefix and suffix under the topic vocabulary. In this session, let's discuss about letter writing. Letter writing is an art that is almost forgotten nowadays, except when formal situations demand one. We rely more on the electronic media, telephone, and chatting. For academic purposes, all letters fall under two broad classifications, that is, formal letters and informal letters. Types of formal letters: letter of inquiry, letter of placing order, letter of cancelling order, letter of complaint, letter of request, job application, etc. Informal letters: personal letters to family members, friends, birthday greetings, etc. The format of letters: the heading consisting of the writer's address and date. First, writer's address and date. Next, the greetings or salutation: dear, my dear, sir, madam, like. Next, content of the letter. Content of the letter, it should be in simple language. The subscription: yours faithfully, yours sincerely, yours obediently, yours truly, etc. in formal letters, and yours lovingly, yours affectionately, etc. in personal letters. Then after that, signature, the signature. Then the last of all, the superscription on the envelope. Children, here I have given two letter writing for your assignment. Write the assignment in the English classwork. Don't neglect to study English subject, children. Revise the portions taught. Learn the glossary and other vocabulary exercises. If God's will, we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Thank